All right, this week you guys are going to focus on designing your own sprite for GameStar Mechanic. So you've seen a bunch of different ones as you've been playing and creating your own games. Now is your opportunity to make one of your own. So for your warm-up, I want you to answer these 5 questions. 1, what is your sprite going to be called? 2, what does your sprite look like? 3, is it going to be an avatar, an enemy, a block, a system, an item? 4, what does your sprite do? And 5, what sort of games do you imagine your sprite being used in? So here's an example of a sprite from GameStar Mechanic. This is the teleporter. It's a red and yellow circle with a gray and white swirl in the middle. It's an item. My sprite allows avatars and enemies to travel from one tile to another tile. And I imagine this sprite being used in maze games where the avatar must go from one end of the maze to the other before the time runs out and they lose. Make sure your answers are in complete sentences. Take your time for the warm-up today. There is no rush. This is your planning period for your sprite that would ideally be used in GameStar Mechanic. If you need ideas on what sprites are already in GameStar Mechanic and thus what you would want to create yourself, I've included an article in Google Classroom for today's work. Take some time, read through it, get an idea of what's already been made, and maybe find some inspiration on what you could make for GameStar Mechanic. After you have a rough idea, you're going to make your paper prototype of your sprite. So using this worksheet, which I'll pass out to you today, yesterday we talked about pixels. This is a 20 by 20 pixel paper prototype. When you create your own sprite, it's going to be a bit bigger tomorrow, but for today, you're doing a smaller scale version of it. So using these 20 by 20 pixels, draw a rough sketch of what your sprite might look like. If you have any questions, raise your hand, let me know.